Hello there, my name is Dr. Jessica Guerrero. I am your facilitator and instructor for this Anatomy 260 course. I just wanted to say hello. I'm going to walk you through the class to kind of give you an idea of how it's set up, try to answer any questions potentially that you may have, and then let you know when you can get in touch with me. So to begin with, I'm just going to start in our Canvas and go I guess, button by button on the side and let you know what you can have access to. So on our home screen, you will have the most recent 5 announcements. The newest is on top, the oldest is on bottom. As you scroll down, it gives you a description of our course. And there's also shortcut buttons to each week's assignments if you choose to use these. Okay. The next one, announcements, is a holistic compilation of all the announcements that are made for this course. And I would strongly suggest that as you're getting familiar with this course, that you go through each of these announcements one by one. The only one that really is not necessary, and it should hopefully be deleted soon, is the one that says week 8 videos. And somehow or another, it just accidentally keeps getting copied in here. So that was not intentional, just so you know. Anyways, please take the time to read each of these announcements and know that I don't just make haphazard announcements. If it's in the announcements, it probably has some pretty pertinent information like quiz passwords or instructions or review content. Okay. The syllabus, I feel like that alone tells you what it is. It is a link to our syllabus, which I cannot manipulate or change, but it tells you what you can expect in this course. It also tells you how to get in touch with me, the learning outcomes. And then if you scroll down, it tells you the books, grade breakdown, and then it gives you, hey, these are the holistic layout of the assignments. And then it gives you a week by week breakdown as you get further. This is what you're going to be doing each week, so on and so forth. Okay. On the module button, this is pretty much where I suggest you start each day. Once you get familiar with the course, you've gone over the syllabus, and you've looked at all the announcements. This is broken up into week. However, the first 2 modules are like intro material to help get you situated in the course. So welcome and getting started, your discussion board expectations, questions for your instructor, and you can reply to the discussion boards there, student lounge. The syllabus and course expectation acknowledgement instructions, basically what you're supposed to do is, this is a little quiz here that's due by the first Wednesday. So that would be this coming Wednesday, that says that you've read the course expectations. This is a requirement for your course certification to show that you have logged into the class. So please make sure you take time to do that. Along after that is the Respondus practice quiz. All of your monitored quizzes are taken through Respondus, so you are required to have downloaded the Respondus lockdown browser. And this is just a quick practice quiz and not heavily weighted at all, but just to make sure that your browser is installed correctly so that when you do take your quizzes, your first quiz is the first Sunday of the week. Well, every Sunday is when it's due. You can, of course, take it earlier, but it's due by Sunday at 11:59. If you're having issues on Sunday, there's really nothing we can do. So we try to make sure if you have issues, we resolve those earlier in the week. You do have an option to take these quizzes if you cannot download the Respondus lockdown browser on campus, but we do have to make arrangements in advance so they can set up a device for you to test on. Below that are what we call the course resources. The link to the bookstore, getting started with Pearson, which is what your mastering A&P assignments are, information about downloading the Respondus lockdown browser, information about complete anatomy, which I will explain to you in just a little bit. And then right here, it says Dr. Guerrero's lecture notes, quizzes, or notes and reviews. There's online tutoring. Panopto is a recording device that you have access to. And then institutional resources throughout West Coast that you have access to. I'm going to click on the Dr. Guerrero's lecture notes and reviews really quickly so that you can see what I've provided for you. In this module, the very first thing I have posted here is a link to the quiz reviews for each of your weekly quizzes. These reviews are conducted on YouTube and they're recorded, and it tells you what you can expect to see on the quiz. I strongly suggest you start here each week so that you kind of know where to focus, because there is a lot of content to cover. Then I've put your anatomy midterm review. Your midterm is not until week 5, but it's crazy that in these accelerated courses, the weeks fly by. So I strongly suggest you also take the stuff that you review in the weekly quiz and put them into the midterm review. So you're not double working during weeks 4 and 5 as you're preparing for the midterm. As you scroll down, I have each of the resources for the weeks. So week 1, I have a recorded lecture of the human body, but I've also put the PowerPoints there as well. If you would like to download them for your access, for your notes, so that you're not having to write anything down, you have that capability. If you don't want them at all, then don't worry about it. Then the following lectures include the content that is covered in week 1. Then I have week 2, week 3, and I think you get the point. After week 5, I have the final exam review, because for everything from week 6 on will be on the final exam. So as you do your weekly quiz reviews for week 6, 7, and 8, fill out your final exam review. The final exam is not comprehensive, so it only covers stuff that we talk about in class after the midterm. Again, I have week 6 resources, 7, 8, and then week 9 resources. So these are already available to you, and you can access them at any time. If you don't want to come back into Canvas to access the lectures, you can also just get the playlist. I put the playlist of all of those lectures there for those. And then for weeks 1 through 5, the playlist is here. All right. Moving on to where it says assignments. Assignments is just a list of all of the graded work in this class. To me, this is confusing, although because I'm going through this entire course, I want to make sure I cover it, because this may be conducive to the way that you like to learn or work, but it lists everything out. To me, that's just overwhelming. I want to see it all broken down into weeks. So I'm going to go, so here, this is the list of assignments. I'm going to go back to modules and show you how the assignments are already put into the modules. So after you finish the intro and the course resources, we have week 1. So all of this is the content that is to be covered in week 1. Okay, all grouped together. You have your Metabytes, and I will give you instructions on how to do that. Then you have your Pearson Mastering A&P assignments. Then you have your weekly episode. So we have created a binge-worthy series called Anatomy of a Mystery. And each week, there's an episode that correlates with the lecture material that we cover. And there are some questions embedded in that you get graded on each week. Then there's the discussion board. This is your monitored quiz. It does require a password, and I provide the password on Thursday mornings. So you can't take the quiz any earlier than a Thursday. And then the week 1 lab assignment. It continues on for week 2, 3, and so on. Okay. On the My Mastering, so the discussions are linked into your modules, which is where I suggest you access them from. But if you want to access them directly from the discussion board forum, you may do that. The My Mastering, to me, this is already set up for me, but for you, in order to access it and have your account linked to this class so that your work that you do gets updated in your gradebook in this class, you have to access it through Canvas. You do have to purchase an access code. When you click on the assignments, it will prompt you to purchase an access code, but it will also give you a 7-day free trial if you can't purchase it immediately. And it will save your work so that when you do purchase it, it will transfer it into the gradebook. Okay. There is an access code required for the Mastering A&P assignments that you do have to purchase. It does give you the option when you purchase the access code to also purchase the e-textbook. That is entirely up to you. It is a fully searchable textbook. It does have a lot of teaching resources in it to help you with different videos and so forth. I find it's beneficial, but it is not a requirement. So let me know if you have any questions on that. Okay, the rest of these, not all of them are live for you, meaning that you can't see them. You can just see them because I'm in your my teacher's version of our course. But I do want to go back up to the announcements because I did ask you to read through all of them. There's one that really gives you everything you need to know to get started. It's called Welcome. Please start here. Tips for Success in Anatomy. The link to this message will be put here, okay, that I'm recording right now. But in everything that you email me, may you please and thank you put that you're in anatomy and you are in section OLA. So online, section A. Please put that in all of your communication. The reason is because I also teach pathophysiology and physiology, and I have 25 students in each of those classes. So it's very difficult to figure out who you are just by your name alone, especially weeks 1 through 3. Usually by week 4, I can figure it out. So how to contact me. Also the fact that you can reach me through remind messaging. And I do respond to your messages whenever I'm not driving or I'm not in the middle of some type of activity where my safety would be compromised. I do not respond at all on Fridays. Fridays is my religious holiday. So I will get your messages and I will respond to them either first thing Saturday or Saturday afternoon. So you are still welcome to send them. I'm just letting you know I'm not reachable on Fridays. And if you're panicking on Sunday night at like 11 o'clock at night, I usually don't respond to that either. My cutoffs normally during the week are around 7 p.m. that I stop responding to messages and I spend time specifically and strictly with my family. But you're welcome to message me whenever you want. Just as soon as I can, I respond to you. And it's never 2 or 3 days. It's usually 24 hours at the most. And that's like really pushing it. I did mention that I've recorded all the lectures for you. You will have to purchase the Mastering A&P. So I've mentioned that. I also talk about the weekly quizzes that require the Respondus Lockdown browser. I mentioned and I discussed the Anatomy of a Mystery, the episodes that we record each week, and you have questions embedded there. Also, I want to say this right now, when you do that, and it says it in the instructions, but you have to click submit at the end of your questions in order for it to be updated in the gradebook, just so you know. The discussion boards are due, the initial post is due each Wednesday, and you do have to respond to 2 peers on separate dates. So you have to be active in the discussion board 3 separate dates to meet requirements. That does not mean you get the full amount of points. In order to get the full amount of points available on a discussion board, you have to exceed expectations, which means you have to have more than just the initial post and 2 peer responses. So you need to have 1 more peer response. You have to do more than the minimum. Okay, so meets expectations is the initial post on Wednesday, a peer response maybe on Thursday, and a peer response on Friday, because you're active 3 separate dates. You've cited everything in APA format and so on. Anytime it exceeds expectations, there's an extra post that you've cited everything in APA format. That is a criteria. That you have in-text citations and a reference list at the bottom of your initial post. You do have to link the weekly episode into your discussion board if you want to exceed expectations on your initial post. You have to make sure to mention it, and you also have to cite the video. And I have the citation for that I will provide for you. And if I don't, by the time you start your initial discussion board post, just send me a message and I'll set it up for you. But you must have all of that stuff cited. I will give you feedback in your scoring on the rubric to let you know, hey, this is how you can make this better, so on and so forth. But please know that if you do just exactly what it asks in the discussion board, it will be meet expectations, which does not maximize your points. The only way you can maximize your points is if you get exceeds expectation. All right. The course lab for this is actually completely online. It's through an application called Complete Anatomy. Complete Anatomy has been paid for you already, and we are setting up your accounts. They should be up and going by Monday of the first week, if not by Tuesday. In order to make sure that you get the free access, which is technically not free, it's just already been paid for. You have to register with your West Coast email, and the password is 3D4 medical. If your account is not set up and you try to register with your personal email address, your grades will not transfer. I'm just going to let you know that. I will also tell you that within this application, you have to take screenshots of the quizzes, and I will talk about that during our first class meeting, which I believe for anatomy, it's Wednesdays. These are optional class meetings, but I believe for anatomy this term, it's Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. So I will show you how to go through and access the lab there as well. But you also have these instructions under the modules, and it says getting started with complete anatomy. Okay. Metabytes is an application that you can download on your computer, on your phone, and it is a free access to you. There are different versions of Metabytes. This is designed by West Coast University specifically for our students. You need to, of course, select the anatomy one, and there are 8 weeks of work, or 8 units, and there are 10 activities in each unit. So at the end of unit 1, you get a progress picture, and it says activity 1, activity 2, 3, 4 through 10, and it has stars. You have to submit a screenshot of that completion screen uploaded into Canvas in order to get credit for that assignment. You do get credit for the assignment. Whether you get a 100% or an 80%, you still get full credit. Okay, so just make sure you get those screenshots submitted. And I mentioned also on Complete Anatomy, you must submit screenshots of that as well. The signature assignment is not due until week 6, but do not let that due date fall away. Start working on it. You can work on it throughout the semester. I can help you with citations. The librarian is phenomenal, and he can also help you with citations to help get you started and on your way to a successful submission of this signature assignment. As you scroll down, what it takes to succeed: academic honesty and integrity. Basically, don't cheat, and don't quote anything. There should be no quotes in your discussion boards. There should be no quotes for definitions. We should be paraphrasing now that we're at the secondary or post-secondary level. If you have questions on that, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. It never fails. I usually have one student who's dismissed from the university each term because they just copy and paste off of like Course Hero. Some of these assignments have been used on other West Coast campuses, so they gain access from another student, and then it shows up in our system that way. So just don't cheat. APA citations. This is another area that students struggle, but don't be afraid to admit that you're struggling here. We have plenty of people at this campus who are more than willing to help you. Myself and Kyle McLaughlin, he's fantastic, and he will set up a one-on-one Zoom with you in about 20 minutes, get you where you need to be. Weekly announcements. On Monday, I'll send you a list of the assignments that you have due each week. It basically corresponds with the content that is in the module. All right. I will have a virtual hour. Again, it's optional. And then this term, I believe it's Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, and it'll be set up on your course calendar where you can join from any location. And we talk about the content that'll be on the quiz, answer any questions, make sure everything's okay. You can touch base with me, drop in, drop out, whatever works for you. I also have office hours on Mondays and Thursdays from 10:30 to 12 in the morning Central Time, and on Mondays in the evening, I believe 6 to 7:30. Deadlines for all of your assignments are Wednesdays. Well, Wednesday for the discussion board at 11:59, and Sunday at 11:59 for all other assignments. For your, I don't want to say for your safety, but for your success in this course, I've kind of laid out how I would suggest you approach the content in this course to make sure that you manage your time wisely. You don't try to complete everything on Saturday. That if you are a person who can only study in the nights and the weekends, that you do so, but you have goals each day of what you need to accomplish so that not everything sneaks up at you at once. No matter what happens this term, something is going to throw you off. There will be some obstacle, some sickness, some accident, some death, some big event, some vacation that you're trying to work around. It happens every term. Prepare in advance. Keep yourself informed. Manage your time wisely. Mondays, I suggest you cover some of the lectures and the Pearson assignments. Tuesdays, lecture, Pearson assignments. Wednesday, complete anatomy. So that's your lab, anatomy of a mystery, and your initial discussion board post. Thursdays, you begin your quiz review. You do your Metabytes assignment. You respond to one discussion prompt, so one peer response, because remember, it has to be on 3 separate dates. Friday, finish the quiz review, work on some of the signature assignment. Respond to discussion board, your second peer response for the discussion board. Saturday, look over your quiz review, work on the signature assignment a little bit. Then relax. Do whatever you do with your family, with your dog, with your friends. Have a good time. Take some time for yourself. Don't just be centered on school all the time. It is important for your mental health and your overall development as a human to take time for yourself. Sunday, check the discussion board. Make sure no one's asked you any questions or responded with clarification activity. Review for your quiz, and then take that quiz. I also created this diagram just for your reference, also for those of you who are going to try to tackle outside activities besides your academics this summer. Week 1 tends to be a pretty lax week and probably amongst the rest, I don't want to say the easiest, but the least amount of stress. Week 2 is high impact. Like week 2, you get slapped in the face based on week 1. Week 3 and 4, it kind of declines a little bit. We kind of level off at a plateau. By week 5, you have your midterm. Lots of stress. Week 6, the signature assignment. So if you've actually worked on the signature assignment in advance, week 6 may be a lot less stressful for you. Week 7 and 8, week 9 is the final exam. So just so you have an idea, I feel like the more informed you are at the beginning, the more successful you'll be throughout the term. Okay. I think, let me check my notes real quick. I'll walk you through the course. Discussion boards, yes, integrating this. Grading, all of your work from each week has to be graded by the Wednesday of the following week. And I do try to give you some detailed feedback in the rubric just to kind of guide you. So, but you're also welcome to set up office hours with me if you have questions about how I graded your work. First hour. Oh, and on Wednesdays, we also collaborate with the quiz review. And we'll work on this first week. We'll kind of get to know each other. But I kind of divide up the content and we practice teaching each other, which helps in learning this content overall. Okay, I think that's it. And I know this is a little long, but I really appreciate your time and I look forward to working with you this term. Thank you again for signing up, and I will see you week 1.